Good morning, everybody. And happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day. We slept in because it's Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Because it's 8 o'clock here in Las Vegas, and we usually we're up at 4:30, and we're like, oh.
Not today. Today
No.
we're loving
It
sleeping
was
in.
so.
You see what I did there?
I see what you did there. So little
Loving it.
nerd signs that you're a nerd.
Oh.
You're wearing your Ren shirt. Okay, so let's get
Coffee
to
cup.
it. Oh, this is this
okay.
is a repeat. This is my healing hands.
Sometimes we repeat because we're not going to have 365.
I'm gonna Valentine's Day goals for us today. Go out and have French breakfast.
Wait.
Probably. What?
365 coffee mugs.
Coffee
You didn't
mugs?
let me finish.
Okay.
So what I was saying was we're not going to have 365 coffee mugs. It's just not. No. I love you, but not.
But my quest today is
Okay.
to go find a Valentine's Day mug because
We are on a quest.
I don't
Chivalry.
have a love mug. So French breakfast, coffee, and then we're gonna go visit my dad, who is 97 this year. His birthday's March 1st. Yes, he's an awesome person.
Which, funny thing for women about your father figure, whatever that happens to be, that tends to be where you get your relationship from. So if you've got a good relationship with your dad, probably a good relationship. Okay, so that's not the topic of the day.
Not the topic of
That
the
was
day.
just a little
Dad's
aside.
later, but we'll do that one on Father's Day.
Bedhead.
Yes, this is the happening.
I don't know how I do it.
Because you're perfectly coiffed. You're like, you can like step out of the door. You're like all
Now,
spiked and ready.
if you look back here where I keep my head at night, it's probably flat.
That's okay.
Another geek moment, using words like coiffed.
Coiffed? Oh, coiffed.
So, Ren Fair, coiffed.
Coiffed.
Little Shakespeare note. Heather, before we actually started, was like, should we like play out Macbeth or Romeo and Juliet?
Let's do a scene from Romeo and... Please. I lied. I do have a love mug. My Shakespearean love quotes. I just prefer to use the Shakespearean insults mug more than the love mug. That should tell you more about me. Men have died from time to time, and worms have eaten them, but not for love. He's gonna cry. That was... Okay, moving on. Topic for the day from a listener.
Oh, that I wore a glove upon that hand to touch that face. Okay, so lovely Shakespeare out of the way.
Yes, done. Honesty. Perfect topic for Valentine's Day.
And Shakespeare was pretty darn honest.
He was pretty honest. So,
Okay.
how honest should you be with your partner about your past relationships and all of that, your old loves?
And on one end of the spectrum, it's like, yes, be honest about everything. Everything. You've got to share everything. You've got to put everything out on the table.
I think it really depends on where you are in your relationship, what stage you're in, and how mature both of you are.
Right.
Insecurity. Insecurity plays a big part on how much you share and when.
How much you can share.
How much you can share. But I'll give you an example from us, and then we'll talk about...
So we were going out one night.
And
not too long ago.
Not too long ago, and with meeting a group of friends, and some old friends of mine from college, which was a long time ago. And I said, hey, just FYI, one of the guys that we're going to meet up with I had a college fling with, and we would skip class all the time and go back to my place. Just because I wanted to get that out in the open in case there was any innuendo that night, or we got drunk and we're talking about old college things. I didn't want shock to happen.
And that brought us to the topic of courtesy, the courtesy of honesty. And in that kind of a situation where you've got somebody that you may have had a thing with, which is it better to hear, before or after?
You might meet up with some friends and there's an ex-lover in the mix and you don't want to say anything, but that energy might be in the air just because you're talking about college or whatever. And
your partner might be
they'd
picking
be
up
like,
on something.
what, did she like this guy still?
Even if there's nothing there.
Chances are, unless your partner is your first love, you've had other people before you, and that's before you. That's not now.
But picking up on that energy without being told ahead of time, without having a forewarning, because if you've got the forewarning, then you go, okay, I get it, that's what that is. If you don't, your mind will start or your partner's mind will start creating a story in the background and filling in the blanks with the worst case scenario usually.
And that's not healthy.
Okay, so that brings us to insecurity and maturity. For example, if we had had this conversation and maybe I was 20 years younger, so there are parts of my
Ego.
my ego, my maturity that hadn't developed yet. So 20 years ago, I probably would have taken it much, and I wasn't necessarily in a receptive mood, and I probably would have gotten jealous just from the conversation.
You might be jealous, or your partner might be jealous. You have to gauge your insecurities and your insecurities of fear and talk about those. Well, if you're insecure,
Yours, your partner's.
these are relationships that happen before your current relationship. And that's a big question. Do we talk about past relationships?
And
I hope so.
If you can't, if you and your partner are not quite at that stage of maturity in your relationship or communication in general, then work on the communication, work on building that strength.
Work on why you or your partner are insecure about your partner's
Right.
past relationships. Why do you feel threatened by it? And talk about it. This is important for you to get to a deeper level of honesty with each other.
Right.
Because I'll tell you, I've had partners that I couldn't say, hey, we're going to meet some friends and I was with this person before. They might say, oh, well, do you still want to be with them? No, get
And
all
start
insecure.
filling their head with stuff.
And you're like, oh my gosh, I'm trying to be honest. So, but there's nothing more freeing than to be able to say to your partner, like the other night, hey, here's da-da-da. It's liberating because there's this part of you can.
And this is something that we've built from the beginning, because in the beginning there were things that we would talk about and it made me uncomfortable because of my old pattern, my old fear, my old doubt. And by building that safety, knowing that we can have this open communication, anytime that something like that gets presented, I don't have that tinge of jealousy or fear. So this communication is a practice like any other practice in your relationship. Date nights, honest communication, all of these are really good things that we need to build.
And for me, I really hope that my partner has had great relationships before me, that they've had great sex life, they've had great experiences, and taken away great, fantastic things from each relationship before they get to me. Because number one, they're working out the bugs with somebody else. So if you're insecure, work on being grateful for the experiences your partner's had.
Right. And work on getting out of the fear that causes. And work on getting out of the fear that creates this kind of jealousy, because jealousy is a fear. Insecurity is a fear. All of these things are a fear. So work on the fear. And realize that fear has absolutely nothing to do with your partner. If your partner is conveying these kinds of things, they trust you.
What you're working up to is a big, deep trust factor between the two. That takes a while to build, especially if you've been hurt. Now, I know that I'm a diva and I need to be the queen. You know what I mean? But I also don't want to squash my partner and their expression. If you bring too much of that diva into the relationship, you're never going to get to that deeper level of your partner's life, their experience.
Talking about their expressions and experiences.
And you're not going to ever allow your partner to express those deeper experiences.
They've got to feel safe enough.
Because you're making it all about you, and you complain about, oh, my partner doesn't express his feelings and all of this stuff. But if you're being insecure, you're not allowing them the safety.
So if your partner's insecure, if you're insecure, work on the insecurity. Help them to feel safe in their communication. And address the fear.
And this brings us to the other end of the spectrum. If your partner is going to be violent, and it really is going to go beyond open sharing, and fear is coming up, let's work on that fear, then it's a different.
And honestly, if you're with a partner that's going to be violent, you got to check your motives and why are you still there?
Right. Then you need to address some other things, like why do you need this abusive. So in your communicative relationship, if you're both working on those insecurities, be sensitive to your partner's feelings and the things that they need to release as you're bringing these things up. Don't be a bulldozer and be like, I'm going to tell you all about my past love affairs. That's really...
If it comes from force, it comes from fear.
That's really... And in that case, you're coming from a place of ego where you've got to be like Casanova or Casanova and revealing all of this.
The communication should flow easily. It shouldn't be pressure or stress. If there's pressure or stress in the relationship, either for you to communicate or for them to listen, check it.
So as you build a stronger foundation with your partner, be sensitive to your partner about what their fears are and what they need to release as you're bringing up your past thing. Another place that's coming from ego is if you're revealing, we're talking about revealing too much, and that might be, I had this love affair with this person and it was really wonderful. And you're, talking about how fun you had and all of that. That's great. But it's if you're going, oh, I really miss them.
Right.
And oh my gosh, we had such a, and you get so detailed that it borders on the,
Because then what you're getting into is you're telling your partner about the one that got away.
Yeah.
So the key here is be present in your relationship. Be present in your communication. Be as honest as you can with yourself and with your partner. And be tactful with it.
Right.
Don't be a bulldozer.
Right. And don't be like intimate details of your sexual escapade with this person and be like, oh. Because then you are bordering on threatening your partner. I mean, you can be like, yeah, we had a really great intimate life. And
You don't want to be the threat, though.
Right. So you need to be...
You don't want to give your partner a reason to doubt you.
But every relationship is different. And like, if you guys caught Crystal's, the ladies coach talk yesterday, she touched a little bit on this and said, your intimate relationship is going to be different from partner to partner. And you need to gauge this with your partner. It's so individual. So what's right for you to share is right for you to share within that relationship. But It's got to be agreed upon communication style.
Rules of engagement.
Rules of engagement.
And now it's crystal time.
Oh, this is our little celestite heart, which is not the feature stone of the day, but David just wanted to hold it.
I wanted it because it's one of our heart-shaped stones.
Okay, crystals. I'm going to show you 3. Rose quartz, which is for compassionate love.
And love of self.
And love of self. Garnet, which is a stone of primal love. It's got stickers all over it, sorry. Garnet, which is about primal root, passion. Yeah. Got amethyst, which is about spiritual love. So if you keep all 3 of these together in your bedroom, rose quartz, garnet, and amethyst, it's like the perfect love combo. Put it off your face. There you go. Rose quartz, garnet, and amethyst. Spiritual love, compassionate love, and primal love. So it's kind of the perfect combination of stones to keep love in balance. Remember,
Balance it?
Yeah. Oh God. Here we go. It's gonna be a great day. Okay, there you go. So you've got garnet. No, wait. Yeah, that's garnet. Garnet.
Rose quartz.
Rose quartz.
And
amethyst.
amethyst.
We're off to do the love thing right now. Oh wow. Yeah, you give him that much rope and he just runs with it. Sending out big love to everybody.
So love your day, love your mate, love the way that you...
Love, love, love.
There's a word. Okay, so thank you guys for joining us. Make sure to comment below wherever you happen to be, what you like the most and what you want to see next. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe, and we'll see you.
We'll see you tomorrow. And we'll have stuff to report about our adventures on Valentine's Day.
Oh,
well,
yeah.
Maybe not all of it. Not full disclosure.